Crypto Nation love. It's awesome. I love it and fantastic. We're putting together a video hopefully in the next day or two from all the comments and questions. We have a lot of new subscribers. Obviously, the channel is growing very rapidly. The space is growing rapidly. Certainly, it's not because of me. It's because of you guys. And there's a lot of want to know more about cryptocurrencies around the world. We have people from everywhere. They're clocking in and telling me where they're coming from. It's incredible. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. It is an incredible, awesome way to share information. Thank you to those of you that are sharing it. We're looking at other mediums to get our messages out there as well. There's even Watch from Facebook. Eventually, when they release that for the average content creator, we'll definitely see if that's a possibility. But anything that will help us share our message, there's going to be all kinds of news coming in that's going to try to sway it and be incredibly biased. And I've got an example of that for you today to show you how biased it can be, trying to manipulate the market and change people's perception of what's happening. Well, this is actually simple, but it's a good example. All right, so make sure you follow me on Twitter, obviously. Connect with me there. Facebook, hopefully we'll be putting that together as soon as they release it. And anything you can do to put us in a playlist, like, much appreciated. We're obviously going to try to do some more live streams, cut those up, edit them, bring them to you as well, and show you the process of what this is all about. Certainly, I'm not the expert in the space. We don't know everything about this. Nobody does. But I'm going to continue to expose you to the process of what I see happening. And then we get to decide ourselves what the heck is happening. But it's exciting, that's for sure. All right, watch this. Everyone's favorite cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, which has skyrocketed over 460% year to date, was giving back some of its gains during trading on Wednesday. But here is the title and the headline, and not much different than the one I used in some ways, but I try to be more accurate. Bitcoin prices nosedive as regulators increase scrutiny. Now, if you look around at all the news sites that are financial sites that are Bitcoin related or unrelated, you start to see a little bit of a trend. Very quickly, these get repeated and retweeted. And that's why we've got to be the other side of balance and positivity to champion this movement, because that's what we've got to do. It doesn't mean stick your head in the sand, but look at the way these titles are used. Nosedive as regulators increase scrutiny. Meanwhile, the banks right now are talking about adding blockchain and exposing and buying companies and telling everybody about it. And on the other side, we're hearing, oh, it's falling apart, it's terrible, the regulators are crushing it. And that's why Bitcoin is nosediving. And we'll get into that in just a second. Shares of Bitcoin were falling over 4% to 53.70 during midday trading on Wednesday. The cryptocurrency was falling as much as 8% earlier in the day. Oh, it's just horrible. I mean, the sky is coming in. Wednesday's drop is being attributed to a report from the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, an organization devoted to fostering open, transparent, competitive, and financially sound markets. The report, entitled A CFTC Primer on Virtual Currencies, argues that as a commodity, virtual currencies including Bitcoin, are subject to the oversight of the Commission when they are applied in a derivatives contract, which, by the way, JP Morgan has done in the past, or if there is fraud or manipulation involving a virtual currency traded in interstate commerce. Okay, so they're trying to say something there to let you know this is what we'll be looking at. Now that's up to them. I'm not the CFTC, although I could certainly make multiple videos about them. Let's talk about that nosedive title for a second. And these are the things I want you to see behind the scenes as I'm researching and I'm reading and I'm looking. I see these things and I think, wait a minute, that's Jim Cramer from the street. Millions of people are going to see that. I better go check the price. What the heck is happening? Is it diving? Bitcoin right now, as I make this video, is 54.33 on, let's see, we have it on CoinMarketCap. The market cap is just under 164 billion. The record was 180 and change billion. So we've basically had a small pullback. Now that's 10 billion in the last week or so, because we've hit all-time records and price on Bitcoin, even though we didn't hit all-time market cap totals. So at this point, although they don't go hand in hand, at this point, that is the slightest pullback on a rocket ship that is going past the moon and looking for Mars, and somebody says, oh, I can't believe that rocket ship almost crashed. It's nosediving. It's in trouble. It's you better stay away from it. Something horrific is happening. It's horrible. Well, breaking news would be if it completely came down to, let's say, 4,000 or 3,500, or there was something legitimate. But actually, this seems like a bull market push because you got the CFTC coming out and saying something which isn't horribly negative. And ultimately, you've got channels like Jim Cramer's The Street coming out and saying it's nosediving, and here's why. It's been attributed by who? It's been attributed to the CFTC report, and yet the CFTC report really doesn't say anything horribly negative about it. In addition to that, all they're doing is clarifying in all the reports that come out. In addition to that, the market pullback happened before the CFTC report even came out, and now we're above the numbers that Jim Cramer actually mentions, or at least on the street is mentioned, whoever wrote it, is mentioned today alone. Now, obviously, moving forward over the next day or two or three, we'll see some kind of maybe pullback, capitulation. But what I have already noticed, you guys, I could have it up here and show you, is the articles that are starting to come out this week that are saying that there's some challenges. CFTC, this government this government that. When you read into it, you realize, wow, that's really just a perception of somebody, and that certainly can be open to opinion and interpretation. But a lot of it has been headlines that are negative headlines that are either not completely negative in the news article or used to continuously throw out FUD. All right.